March 6th, 2025. This is my review of Numbers 23, 20, 22, 23, and 24. The story of Balaam. Um, Interesting story. Balaam, I think, was he talks about him doing divination? Anyway, a pagan um, process, which seeking spirits and not something godly, but God used him. He was famous in the area, obviously. Um, I had to dig up a little bit outside of this. Is one I read on. I've read on it before, and I had to go back and had a look at it because the first thing I noticed is the NLT reads in verse 20. It reads, "Since these men have come for you," where the New King James Version, which I normally read, reads, "If these men come to call on you, then go with them, but only speak what I tell you to speak." And this is the second time Balaam seeks that. Um, the "if" makes more sense to me because of the way that God stopped Balaam from going afterwards. He got in his way, right? He got in the way of his donkey. His donkey could see the angels that were standing in the way, but Balaam couldn't until he beat his donkey and his donkey could talk. This is one of my favorite verses, by the way, of using, or not really. I never memorize the verse number, but I always reference that, hey, God even used a donkey to talk. So don't be thinking you're anything special because God's using you to speak through. Um, anyway, that's side note. But the whole story of Balaam, that would make more sense if he were to come to call, because it says right then afterwards that Balaam got up and went. So if it was a if, he prematurely went, right? And so there's a little bit of punishment that goes with that. Um, I even went back and looked at my Blue Letter Bible to see what um, the root word was, and it could be interpreted either way. That I forget what the word was, but it listed all the different English versions of that word, and it could have been any of those. So not real clear. Either way, Balaam shouldn't have even asked. He said, "Nope, I can't go. I'm not supposed to go. I just can't. I'm hearing this. Yeah, there's no amount of money." He said that before. There's no amount of money that would make me go with you because I just can't curse these people when God says to bless them. And these are God's people. I'm hearing from God directly. That's where it boiled down to. And Balaam sought the Lord and done a divination, and the Lord gave him a blessing. Balak was upset with that, understandably so. I'm paying somebody for this, but regardless, Balaam just spoke what the Lord had him say, and that was, if if I'm for you, if I'm for these people, there's nothing that can be against them. That's just the bottom line. That's just the way it is. So Balaam did that once, did it twice. The third time he attempted not to go to God in divination, God came upon him and gave him words directly to speak. And then there was a fourth time even that God spoke to them when Balak tried to get a curse. God just said, "Nope, nope, nope. I'm taking over. This is what you're saying. This is what's going down. You can't curse my people. That's the bottom line. I'm going to kill all these people. These Israelites, these are my people. They're going to kill you and you and you. Just the way it's going to be." So, anyway, there's that. And tomorrow's reading is going to be pretty exciting too, I think. Um, I don't know if we get into that. That's another one I wanted to study. I'd heard some things on, so I want to follow up that. I don't know if that's the time, but Moab seducing Israel. Somebody I'd heard said that came from Balaam, but I don't remember seeing that before. He obviously was with Balak, but he was giving them. Well, he's the biblical, what it's saying is Balaam blessed them and cursed his enemies. That's the way I see it. God will do that. When your enemies are against you and they're really trying to come against you, they can't use God against you, and God will not. If He's blessing you, He's going to bless you. That's God. your enemies don't matter. And this was pretty amazing that God spoke to this man that was the of his blah, 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 spoke to this man when his people's enemies went to him. God spoke to him and couldn't curse him. He could only bless them and curse their enemies to their face. So, anyway, pretty interesting story. One of my favorites.